Hello, we are back. We're now working on signature number 6. And when we're done with it, we just have this right back panel to do and we'll be done. So this is the base page that I'm working with. The reverse side is the window theme. And I gotta erase my marker. I need to find where my center was. Okay, so this is what we're playing with. So our measurement here is 8 1/4 across by 8 3/4 in the height. Now we're going to make a pocket. I forgot to put tape on it. In your scrap, you should hopefully have something that looks like this. The reverse side are the big green snowflakes. I did end up trimming a little bit off the bottom, but I am going to make a pocket with this. And I need to put my tape on while I'm here. Let me get this done here really quick. So then this is going to go on here like this. And then out of the A4 papers, there is this tag that says fall 7 times and stand up 8. And we're just going to put this here. I did back it on some cardstock so it would kind of stand out a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's get this put on. Whoops. And then we'll put the tag on. I found a piece of matching cardstock that I had just layered the crazy out of it with tape, and I'm not sure what I was going to build with it, but I'm using it because it keeps me from cutting into another 12 by 12 sheet. Okay, let's get our panels put on. The right and the left panels are going to be the same. They're going to come in at 6 inches by 8 3/4, and they're both going to have a 1/2 inch score. So let's go ahead and let's get them both put on. And then we're going to put on our next layer of panels. And I do believe they should also be the same. So, but I'll measure each out for you. So we're at 4 3/4 across by 8 7/8. You'll have a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 of an inch score. That's going on the right side. Let's just verify for the left. So the left side is 1/8 wider. So we're at 4 7/8 by 8 3/4. And that's a 1/2 inch score and a 5/8 score. And the reason this is 1/8 larger is by time you get the buildups on here, you need it to be 1/8 wider. I found where my center was, and I needed it to be 1/8 wider because we've got buildup here that takes up space, and I just don't want this kind of a gap. So you find where your center is, cut one to the center, and then cut the other one 1/8 of an inch wider. And then when you wrap everything, they will come together in the center. And I can see where my center mark is because it's on the green paper in the back. So then we're going to bring both of these. I want this hinge to wrap around, so we're going to come right just a hair over that 5/8 score line. And we're going to wrap that over. And then the same here, just a hair over that score line. And hopefully, if I did that right, these are matching up on the seam. Okay. So let's go in here and let's play with our center pieces. All right, you should have in your scraps this piece. There's enough to go the width, but it fell short on the length, but that's okay because we're going to put some layered pockets here. So when these trimmed out, was it this piece? No, it's the next piece. Sorry. Okay. So this piece, it will fit in just fine. I gotta move some stuff around here. And then we're going to do the double layer pocket again. So these are going to measure 3 1/8, 5 3/8 across by 3 1/8. And then we're going to tape them. And I have marked where the top of this needs to go so I can tape this in. And I'll just cover up my marks so I don't have to worry about erasing them. And then the bottom pocket is going to measure 5 3/8 by 3 inches. I think I need to swap those because I put the glue on the tape on the wrong side. Where did it go? And I put the tape on the wrong side. It doesn't matter. I get that once. I'm going to have to take the tape off one of these. I taped the wrong side. No, that's right. I'm getting myself confused. Rounded corner, rounded corner. So this is gonna, what am I doing? Okay. I'm gonna let that one sit till it dries a little bit, and I'm gonna go play with these other two pockets. So rounded corner. Charlie, you are just a space cadet this morning. And then you should, in your scraps, have a long strip that has mountains over here, and you got the tree line in the back, and you got snow-covered limbs here, and then you're going more into a deep forest. There's a little bit that gets trimmed out, I think, off this end. But you need to put these down before you can put the next layer down. And as you can see, the reverse side is the green, soft green with white snowflakes. All right, so now we can add these back on. And then from scrap, I pulled out a strip of this paper, and that's what's going to go down here on the bottom. And then out of the A4 paper, I cut out this tag with the badger, mounted it onto some cardstock, and I'm just going to tuck it in here. So I'm going to come about 1/4 of an inch below those points. That side's done. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? Oh. Okay, this is what I keep telling you guys not to do, and I did it. I laid this piece right on that score mark. So I need to dismantle this. Ah. I did exactly what I said not to do. And as you can see, that explains why I've got a big old wide edge over here. Well, shoot. I was hoping to reuse the tape, but now I got to get it off my fingers. Excuse me, I'm a bit off screen, but I'm trying to just get some tape back on this one end. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to mark where I need to trim off just a smidgen. Okay. Now I'm just coming. Now I should just be able to lay this right straight back up. Now let's see. Oh, much better. Much, much better. So that's what happens when you get either too close or right on top, and I wasn't paying any attention, and I actually was right on top of that score line. Okay, that's fixed. Before I go any farther, make sure I'm going to be able to lay this over. Yep. Okay, let's get this added on. I need to make an adjustment. Dead blasted. I think I'm going to have to take this off and drop it down a little bit, because when I put this piece on here, they lined right up to the seam, and that's not what I want. I want it layered so that you don't see the seam. Yay. Okay, I'm going to just drop it down a bit. And now when I add, glue right there, add this back on. Now they're layered over each other. You can install yours how you want. I want mine layered so that you're not seeing the bottom of this seam. And that's why I made 1/8 of an inch longer. But I did not put my pencil marks in the right spot, apparently. Which means while I'm thinking of it, I need to get in here and erase them. There we go. Okay, and then to finish this up, this was the other tag that I cut. And I'm going to put that here just off center. To the inside, quarter in, a quarter up. That way it keeps the bulk out of this seam. Okay, so that's what we have for the inside. We've got some nice pockets on both sides. So now we're going to close these. And this is the piece that came up short. It's your wood panel. You should have it. The reverse side is this pattern. You've got the raccoon, a mink, hedgehog, rabbit. So this is going to go here. You're going to be short down here, but that's okay because we are going to create a pocket. Now, in your scraps, you just cut this, so you should have it. It goes this way. It's this piece. So I had cut out a piece here in the center, but it was the top of a page we just cut. So I wanted the berry boughs on one side and then this long extended bough over here on the other side. Now, these pockets are going to be 2 5/8 by, it's either going to, I'm just going to call it 5 3/8. Again, you need to make sure that when you're putting these down to measure so that you're where you're supposed to be on your width. And after watching me, I make mistakes, so please verify that. So we're going to lay this in here. Like I say, I'm not perfect. Okay, so lining this up so that this is coming right on top of this edge right here. So if I back it off just a hair, I'm going to be just a smidgen over, and I'd rather take that off now than to have an issue with it later. So that is just a very thin piece right there. So I'm curious once I took that off where I ended up being on the width of this. So 5 3/8. Now I can line it up here on the edge, walk it across, and now it sits correctly. Otherwise it would have been kind of bending backwards because of that extra little bit, and it would have interfered with this hinge, which I need to double check is going to close. Perfect! God, I did something right for a change. And you can see that by the back of this, the reverse pattern, so you'll know that you've got the right piece. But you could use any of the scraps. There's numerous scraps left over. Okay, let's put this one in. I don't know if I've shared or not, but certain images, certain color patterns of green are just absolutely my fave. And this collection has great green patterns that I just love. Add a nice rich green to a burgundy. Oh, that could be a great color. Okay, so let me just double check this. So I'm going to come right to the edge of this, and I should be okay. Yep. You know, I will say that I have a great deal of respect for Scrap and Create. They received a shipment of this paper that was bent in transit. They were really bad. And rather than put those in their stock and sell them off to you, she actually sends them to me as a part of the collection that I'm going to play with when I create albums. Because I can work with the bent. I can make it disappear. And I'm sure you can too, but I think it's awesome that she's not putting it into stock for you to have to deal with. So that's a huge shout out to Scrap and Create. And the reason I'm mentioning that is several pieces I've worked with on this particular signature, it was bent over, the corners were bent way down into the center of the paper. So if you have not stopped by their website yet, please do so. Check out what she's got in stock. They've got some great sales going on. All right, so let's get to the next piece. Now you're going to do a little bit of trimming on this. So the reverse side is this green snowflake. And one side of the image has the cabin, the deer with the log, the stamp set. I trimmed right along this log, and I came over to make sure that I got this antler in, and there's probably 1/8 of an inch between the tip of that antler and the end of the page. So that's how I trimmed this side. This piece, I did quite a bit of more trim. I wanted this image, and I wanted it as center as possible, so I came in and trimmed quite a bit from both sides of this. So you'll see here we've got this log, and there's maybe 1/4 of an inch right here. And then you've got that tree bough. So from the hiney end of the deer to the edge of the paper is 1 inch. So that's how I trimmed these out. I think it's always helpful because you're like, okay, how did she get those images? So that's what I did. And these are more statement pieces than anything. I'm not going to put anything on the pages. You can choose to add photos to them or create a pocket if you wish. But I'm leaving them just as they are. So then you have a nice scenic theme going on here. And then we've got the double pockets and the big long pocket in here. So now we're going to turn these over. And I played with the window. I just couldn't stand it. So I messed around with the images. And I'm going to share with you again how I got here. So this image right here, I cut this window pane right here, or not a pane, this is the window pane. This wood paneled piece, I trimmed just to the left of it all the way up. I'm after this cute little image here, peeking in the window, and then this bird. So this has already been trimmed on this side, so I ended up trimming quite a bit off on this side. I took his tail feather off. So, and then on the top of this, you have the top of the window. I trimmed down to the top, and you can see it's maybe 1/16 of an inch. And then I saved the majority of the windowsill down here at the bottom. So those will sit in just like this. And then I'm using this lantern. It has some of the theme with the pine trees, the pine cones, a lantern with the, that's what's going to close this right here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this side down because I need it down in order to secure the card that's going to close this. Okay, so let me put this on here. Let me just double check, make sure I've got everything lining up here right. So this is going to sit like so. Do I want to drop it a little bit more? I think I'll drop it a little bit more. Okay, so I've set my magnet on this side right here, and I've took a piece of scrap to cover it up. And oh no, it's not what I wanted. I want my spacer in there. There we go. So I'm going to tape down this side, so if I need to make adjustments, I can. Okay, I'm going to put one on because I need to cover the back of it. I'm going to take a wild stab at where that needs to be. Okay, so I guess I don't need to finish this with tape. Okay. I do know what I'm doing, I think. I've got myself a little bit flustered with this piece because I went about it the wrong way. Okay, now I'm just going to glue it down. Come off of there. Looks like I'm about an inch. And I'm going to tape this one on though. There we go. We're done. All right, let's get some tape on the back side. Now I'm noticing something here. I've got what am I trying to say? This hinge right here is trying to flatten out. And I'm going to pay close attention when I put it in the album that I am pushing back on it to encourage it to stand up. I'm not sure if it's in my scoring or what it is that causes that. But I don't know if you can see it or not, how it's wanting to flatten out. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pushing back on that when I go to put it in the album to encourage it. Oh, you know what it is? It's butting up against that seam. That's okay. I'm still going to push back on it to encourage it to stand up, and it will be just fine. Okay, so it's going to go in here, sit like so. Come off of there. This album's getting thick. Okay. There we go. All right, we'll be back to finish up, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.